There's a silence that follows certain people out of rooms. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of someone who stayed behind in your nervous system, like a low-frequency hum you can't quite locate. You feel it when you're brushing your teeth. You feel it at 2 a.m. when you reach for your phone, and there's nothing there that matters. This is not about a breakup. This is about the ones who don't come back, and what happens inside a man who never learned how to hold on. Here's what no one tells you about the man who walked away first. He's not fine. He's doing something far more interesting. He's experiencing the first genuine threat to his identity in years, and he has no idea what's happening to him. Because he wasn't built for loss. He was built for distance. And the moment you left, the architecture he built his entire life around began to shift in ways he cannot articulate, cannot predict, and cannot control. Let me show you what's really going on beneath the surface. Every person who leans avoidant, who pulls away when things get real, who makes you feel like you're too much before you've even done anything, is operating from a neurological framework that was formed very early. When a child learns that closeness is unreliable, that emotional expression leads to discomfort in the people who are supposed to love him, his amygdala, that ancient threat detection system buried in the brainstem, begins cataloging intimacy as danger. Not in words, in cellular memory. In the way his heart rate spikes the moment someone gets too close. In the subtle cortisol spike that happens just before he decides he's not that into you after all. He didn't decide this. His body decided it for him long before he had language for what was happening. So he learned to self-regulate through distance, through turning off, through the quiet certainty that if he never fully commits, he can never fully lose. This worked for him. It kept him safe. It kept him functional. It kept him from ever having to sit inside the unbearable weight of needing someone and not being able to reach them. Until you changed something. And he doesn't have words for what. When you were there, he felt something he couldn't name. A pressure in his chest when you looked at him certain ways. An almost unbearable tenderness that he had to swallow before it surfaced. He felt the urge to call you at midnight, and he didn't. He felt the pull to say something real, something that would crack him open, and he turned it into a joke instead. He let the moment pass, because letting moments pass was how he survived. And then one day, you weren't there anymore, and the silence he created around himself became the only sound he could hear. This is where it begins. The first thing that happens is something he will never admit to anyone. His brain, which has spent years treating emotional intimacy as a threat, suddenly faces a crisis. The threat has left. And his nervous system, designed to protect him, doesn't know what to do with a threat that's gone. The overactive threat detection that kept him safe in relationships now has nothing to hunt. So it turns inward. It starts running scenarios at 3 a.m. It replays conversations. It notices, with startling clarity, the moments he didn't say what he meant. The moments he could have reached for you and didn't. The moments he chose fear over feeling and called it strength. He starts thinking about you constantly, and this terrifies him more than anything else, because he was the one who left, or he was the one who made leaving necessary. Either way, he cannot now be the one who misses you. That would undo everything. That would mean he was wrong. That would mean he needed something he convinced himself he didn't need. And so he does the only thing he knows how to do. He doubles down on the distance. He won't text. He won't explain. He'll post something on his story that he knows you'll see, something that sounds like he's moved on. Something that signals a confidence he doesn't feel. But here's what he's actually doing. He's waiting. Not for you to come back. He's waiting for the feeling to pass, the way it always has before. Except this time, it isn't passing. This time, the ache is structural, not superficial. This time, he's lost something that actually mattered, and his nervous system is screaming at him in a frequency he was never trained to interpret. He starts doing things that look like healing, but are actually compulsions. He scrolls through your photos at 4 in the morning. He listens to songs he sent you 3 years ago. He drives past your old apartment and tells himself he's just in the area. He creates elaborate psychological justifications for why this is fine, why he's over it, why you were probably too much anyway. Each justification soothes him for approximately 45 minutes. Then the ache comes back, sharper than before. Because every time he runs from the feeling, it gets a little faster, a little louder, a little harder to ignore. What he doesn't realize is that his brain is actually going through withdrawal. When you love someone, your dopamine system builds them into its reward architecture. They become a source of baseline comfort, a steady hum of neurochemical reassurance that you don't fully appreciate until it's gone. And when you remove them, the dopamine doesn't stop. It keeps reaching for them in their absence, like a hand reaching for a light switch in a room that's gone dark. The expectation is still there. The reward pathway is still active, but the source is gone. And your brain doesn't understand absence. It only understands loss. This is why he can't stop thinking about you. It's not romantic, it's neurobiological, and it will get worse before it gets better. Here's the part no one talks about, and it's the part that matters most. As the weeks go by, something shifts. The initial shock fades, the denial starts to crack, and he begins to see himself, really see himself, maybe for the first time. He sees the moments he could have been vulnerable and chose safety instead. He sees the conversations where he made you feel small because he was too afraid to let you feel large. He sees the distance he created because intimacy terrified him more than loneliness ever could. This is the moment everything changes. Because what he's really losing isn't you. It's the version of himself that got to exist without accountability. The version that could blame others for being too needy, too emotional, too demanding. The version that never had to sit inside his own need and feel it fully. You didn't just leave. You revealed him to himself. And what he's discovering in the long hours of silence is that he was never as complete as he pretended to be. The moment he understands this, really understands it, is the moment the power dynamic inverts completely. See, he thought he was in control. He thought he chose to leave, chose to detach, chose to protect himself from the unbearable risk of being fully known. But now, lying awake at 3 in the morning, thinking about conversations he had 2 years ago, he realizes something that will haunt him. He didn't leave. He left too soon. He didn't protect himself. He protected himself from the only thing that could have healed him. And you're not coming back. You don't know this yet, but you're the one who got away. Not because you weren't enough, but because you were everything, and he couldn't hold that much. And the distance he maintained to keep himself safe became the distance that sealed his fate. He's going to start chasing. Not in the obvious way, not in the way you'll see, but in the way that matters. He'll find himself texting you something small, something he would never have sent before. Then he'll delete it. Then he'll write it again. He'll want to call. He'll decide against it. He'll wait 3 days, then 4. Then he'll crack and send something that sounds casual, but carries the weight of everything he can't say. He'll test the water. He'll gauge your response. He'll measure the temperature of your indifference, and hope it softens just enough so he can reach across the distance he created. But you won't respond the way he hopes. Because you've grown. Because you've seen the pattern now. Because you understand that love without consistency is just a beautiful trap, and you've decided not to step into it again. And this is where he finally breaks. Not because you left him, but because he left himself. He left the version of himself that could have stayed. He left the version that wanted to say yes and couldn't figure out how. He left the man who looked at you and felt something holy and couldn't bear it. And now, in the terrible clarity of your absence, he has to sit with what he did. Not to you, to himself. This is the reckoning that avoidant men face in the dark. The one no one sees. The one they perform strength through. The one that eats them from the inside long after they've convinced the world they're fine. Here is what you need to understand, because understanding this will change everything for you. He didn't leave because you weren't worth staying for. He left because you were worth staying for. And it terrified him. The depth of what he felt for you was a mirror he wasn't ready to look into. So he ran. He ran toward the safety of emptiness, the comfort of distance, the familiar numbness that never asked anything of him. And he told himself it was strength. He told himself it was wisdom. He told himself you were too much, when the truth was that you were exactly right, and he was exactly not ready. The silence he's living in now is the sound of his own emotional infrastructure collapsing. It's the sound of a man who never learned to feel, finally feeling. And it's exactly what needed to happen. Because here's what you now know that you didn't know before. You know what it looks like when someone cannot hold you. You know the shape of the absence, the texture of the distance, the specific way a person retreats when they're scared. You know it now in your body, and you will never, ever mistake it for love again. That knowledge is yours. It cannot be taken from you. It's the most expensive tuition you've ever paid, and it's the gift that will protect you for the rest of your life. You are not the one who failed. You are the one who stayed present long enough to see the truth, and brave enough to leave when you did. And here's what else you need to know. The person he becomes after you, if he does the work, if he finally stops running, will think about you for the rest of his life. Not the way you think about an ex, the way you think about the one who got away. The one who showed him what he was too afraid to become. The one who loved him enough to leave. He will date other people and compare them to you. He will marry someone else and wonder. He will wake up at 45 and remember the moment you stopped waiting. And he will understand, finally, that the bravest thing you ever did was refuse to stay in a place where your worth was optional. This is not about revenge. This is not about making him pay. This is about understanding the full scope of what happened so you can release it completely. Because the truth is, you didn't lose him. You escaped the slow erosion of being with someone who could never meet you fully. You escaped a lifetime of shrinking yourself to fit inside his fear. You escaped the particular kind of loneliness that comes from sleeping next to someone who won't let you in. And what you gained was something far more valuable than his presence. You gained yourself. You are not waiting anymore. You are not wondering anymore. You are not performing patience for someone who chose distance over depth. You are standing in the wreckage of what almost was, and you're breathing, and you're building something new. Something that doesn't require you to be less so someone else can be comfortable with their fear. Something that requires a partner who can meet you, hold you, and stay. Let him miss you. Let him sit in the silence he created. Let him feel the full weight of what he turned away from. He needed to lose you to understand what he was protecting himself from. And that understanding, however painful, is the only door into the version of himself he could have become with you. But you don't need that version anymore. You need someone who would have chosen it in real time. You need someone who would have said yes when it was hard. You need someone whose hands would have stayed open when everything in him wanted to retreat. And that person exists. That person is coming. Or maybe they're already there, and you're just learning to see them clearly through the noise of everything you've survived. Either way, you are not the woman who almost stayed. You are the woman who left when staying would have cost you everything you are. Remember that. When he reaches out in 6 months and says something that sounds like growth, when he tests the water and finds it cold, when he realizes that he can't replace you, not because you were perfect, but because you were real, and he never let himself have real. And now it's too late. You will know exactly what to do, because you already did it once. You chose yourself. And the man who couldn't choose you, the one who's lying awake right now, thinking about a version of his life he closed the door on, is learning, in the only way he knows how, what it costs to run from the thing that would have saved you both. This is how it ends. Not with dramatic reconciliation, not with the grand gesture he was never capable of, but with you, fully rooted in your own power, no longer waiting by the phone, no longer decoding his silence, no longer making room for someone who never made room for you. With him, wherever he is in his reckoning, doing the internal work he should have done while you were still there to witness it. And with the understanding that some people are meant to leave, so you can become who you were always supposed to be. The silence he created isn't yours to carry anymore. It's his, and he's finally learning what it's trying to teach him.